Well, I loved our start. We had a very enthusiastic shoot around. Good day of prep yesterday, and we defensively knew we had to come out and pressure from the beginning. I think we only got beat on maybe one back cut. Butler does a great job. Austin and his staff are terrific. And we knew that they were going to test us and challenge us defensively because of all the great offense that they run. We felt like we really wanted to push the pace. They're very. We cautioned our kids that they'd have to be ready to play out the entire shot clock for them offensively, so we couldn't relax, couldn't fall asleep. But on the flip side of that, we really wanted to play in space. We wanted to play fast and get a lot of hit-aheads, and I thought our energy, is particularly in the first half, was really good. The only thing obviously I'm disappointed is the turnovers, but look back, there's probably 2 or 3, or maybe 4, maybe more. Those are charges, and then the illegal screens. Just our guards not waiting and not being patient enough off some of those ball screens, and then certainly we're just careless turnovers as well. So disappointed in that, but again, overall, really, really liked the beginning and how we started the game, and so. Happy, but I'm sure we'll find plenty of things that we have to get better, as we move forward.
Questions, Seth, go ahead.
Teri, Lene was just in here, and I asked her about the mid-range jumper and how much more confident she's looking in that, and she said she watched film of Grace religiously and working on that, and obviously that's a big comparison to make, but are you seeing any similarities there right now with the way Lene is shooting the mid-range, and just how has she developed that and gotten so confident?
Absolutely. My opinion as her coach, we really feel like she's a 3-level scorer. She can get to the rim. She can easily, get comfortable shooting that mid-range. And then, she's been shooting really well, at Florida State. And then she turned around tonight, I thought, stuck a few big ones for us. And so, I think that she's just becoming more comfortable, and on the offensive side of the ball. But she's also... What I'm most proud of is I think she's really improved defensively. From her freshman year, I think about some of the moments that, we watched Bo and, just how hard it was for her to play, especially off the ball. And, I'm really proud of her growth on that side of the ball. But, we need Bo. We need a confident Bo. We need Bo to be able to score in different ways for us. And, the last 2 outings for us, she's been really good.
The foul trouble and kind of the averaging like 20 plus per game. Mm-hmm. How is that corrected? Is it in film study? Is it? Obviously reps helps with an inexperienced team, but how do you kind of get those things corrected? And especially kind of going to conference play when you see taller players, more athletic players. How does that get corrected?
Well, we just have to. We know it's a problem. We know it's a category. It's an area that, we talked about today at shoot around. Like, we just have to be. It's hard, Mike, because you want us. I want them to stay aggressive defensively, but we have to have that controlled aggression. We have to play more discipline. We got to be sound. We just have to do a better job, and we'll keep emphasizing it. We'll keep talking about it. We'll keep showing them, because to your point, our goal is never to let those guys get on the free throw line, and we've done it way too much. For sure, it's a point of emphasis for us, and they've heard it. I just think it's trying to find that balance, because I do want them to stay aggressive, but I need them to play much more sound and less fouling, for sure. I know that's not an answer, but. It's a problem for us right now.
You talk about the first quarter. You guys outscored them 23-7. Mm-hmm. Is it difficult to have a team keep its foot on the pedal after a start like that?
Not if you want to win. No. That's the thing we talk about. Every quarter, whether it's every media. We're over there hand feeding them, information, whether we're getting 3 kills, how many kills, which are 3 stops in a row. deflections. I mean, we're sending them and giving them a lot of different messages, turnovers, all of it. And so, again, it's if you have a competitive group, and I think it was Bo that, she alluded to the 7 points we had just given up, that we had only given up. And so, she challenged those guys in the right as soon as we left, to the beginning of the second quarter, to keep them, at bay and continue to do what we were doing defensively.
Blue and then Jet.
Teri, I asked Shay how much the thought of Butler last year was on her mind. She said it was very much on her mind and on your mind.
Yes.
So you did do some reminding about that?
There's no doubt, yeah. I've been bitter since whatever that date was. Bitter.
Bitter?
Yeah, very bitter about that loss in Indianapolis, because it sort of was. I didn't like how we played. I didn't like how we reacted to the loss, and I felt like for the first time in a really, really long time with our team, we. I talk about sticks in a bundle are hard to break, but I felt like for the first time. I felt like we were starting to pull apart a little bit as a team, and I didn't like that feeling either. But far different than the way I feel today with the group I got.
Hey, Coach. You've been all over Indiana as a player, as a coach. Does it mean a little bit more to you when you get to play another team from Indiana? Do you circle that game a little more?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, whether it's any of the schools, I mean, we respect all of them, but I do think, for us, it's an easy drive, so from a distance standpoint, it makes sense for us to, play some of these in-state teams. Here's what I do know about Butler, because I have so much respect for Austin and his staff, that they're going to test us, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And that's why we always agree to play him. We've come out on top probably more times than we've lost. However, we know going into it, I know going into it as a coach, that it somehow is going to help us down the road. Because they're so good in their sets that they run. Now, he, very much like us, have a lot of new pieces as well. So, but like I said, I can't overstate enough how much respect I have for how they do things at Butler, in their women's basketball program.
Question second row to your left, Coach. Go ahead, Moren.
Coach, both Journey and Odessa received an increase in minutes tonight, especially with Journey coming in early in the second quarter. Can you speak on your confidence level with them impacting the game off the bench?
Yeah. Well, she hit a big shot the other day down south. So, I think, again, we have confidence, in a lot of these kids, and I do think, we're trying to get them more minutes inside of games. But as I always say, everybody sits over there and waits for their opportunity. But we can't forget that they get opportunities every day in Cook Hall, every day in Assembly Hall. So when we practice, and so she's a kid that I do think can help us. Journey in particular, Odessa's gonna have to help us at that 5 spot. She's gonna have to be a reliable, backup for Z. And she's been working, both of them, especially Odessa. She's starting to come around that has to embrace being more physical. I thought she did that tonight. And I think she's a kid that really wants to help her team. So she'll continue to work. And I think Journey will continue to do that as well. But, both of those young ladies in Phoenix, the ones that come off and are playing more minutes, Maya, they got to help us. We need a bench.
With Nevaeh picking up her assignment full court, I'm curious, is that something that's your call, or does she just have the green light to go ahead and do that?
Yeah,
when she wants?
she does. She kind of has the green light. That's her kind of her DNA. She has one speed, one gear, and it's aggression. I mean, she's gonna go all out. She's super aggressive. We're just trying to control that a little bit better.
How valuable is it to have a player like that can be so disruptive defensively just by herself?
Right. Well, you're probably too young to know a gal by the name of Nicole
Cardano Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary. And the last time, you know, we had a kid like that would heat up the ball was Nikki. You know, she became, I think, you know, respectfully to the Big Ten, you know, those opponents they never looked forward, right, to playing us because she was very much like Nevaeh, was going to be providing ball pressure for us. And, you know, I think she's an elite defender on the ball. Now, where she has to continue to improve is away from the ball. But to have somebody like that wants to do that is willing to do that takes pride in doing that is awesome. It's awesome. And we're really obviously happy that she's here and, you know, she can do that for us.
Hi, Coach, all the way in the back. After the UIC game, it almost seems as though Shay Chesky's role has changed a little bit. In that game, she went off for 30-plus points. Since then, she's been more of a facilitator, you know, crashing the glass, getting boards, and starting getting your offense in transition. Yeah. Is that something in your mind that her role has changed? Is that something that you emphasize to push on?
No, not at all. I mean, I think Shay knows that she has to do a little bit of everything for us, right? She has to be a scorer. She has to be a facilitator. She at times has to be a rebounder for us. And then she has to be a very sound, reliable defender. And she's become all of that, you know. Like this is a kid that wants to play wants to have a pro career at some point. She realizes there's just not one important thing. She has to be able to do all of it. And again, she, you know, down the stretch there when we got her, you know, had the 9-point deficit against Florida State. I mean, she kind of put us on her back there for a couple possessions and got to the rim. Got to the free throw line. But, you know, she's going to be aggressive. She's smart. She works on her game every single day. You know, she's a really, really good basketball player. And she's been able to, you know, I think morph into even a better defender than she was a year ago for us. And so, you know, which is good. But, yeah, we count on her for a lot. But she always answers the bell.
Teri, you talked about your bench players before, but with Maya specifically, I mean, she got off to a tough start, you know, the first few games, and is clearly kind of working through some things. Right. But tonight was probably her best game so far. I guess just what have you seen from her, you know, starting out her career, and I guess how big can it be if tonight gets her going? Yeah,
I mean, offensively, I think, you know, she finally, you know, gets to see one of her threes go down. I think that was big for her. But I think for her, she has to figure out a way to continue to impact the game set that's just not about stretching the defenders out, right, the defense out, and thinking about her shot, right? And now, look, if we can kick that thing out to her, she has a quick release and her feet are set and she's in rhythm. We want her shooting that all day. But I do think that she can continue to help us very much like Sid Parrish did for us, right? Sid would go get us a couple O boards, right? Sid was relentless defensively. Although what she might have lacked in athleticism, she made up because she just played so hard. And so I think for Maya, she has to continue to come in every time that she has that opportunity and not just be thinking about her shot. And I'm not suggesting that's the only thing she thinks about, but just playing with more energy, playing with greater effort, impacting the game and helping us, you know, offensively keeping our movement, but also on the defensive side of the ball, that's where she has to make her greatest improvements. You know, again, it's no secret that that's the hardest thing for freshmen. You know, we've talked about it in here so many times. What's the biggest area? It's always defensively, right? It's coverages, it's drops, it's rotations. She's not at Hamilton Southeastern, right? And, you know, she probably could get away with a lot, but at this level, you know, starting in transition defense, it's just, you know, you got one of those guys out there that misses a coverage, misses a drop, misses a rotation, and it really puts pressure on the other four. And so that's where she has to make, I think, we would all agree as a staff, her biggest improvements have to come from that side of the ball. And it's watching film every day, and it's correcting and being coachable and all of it, you know, and just trying to fix it and improve it and not make the same mistakes. the next opportunity she gets. But I do think she has a bright future here. And again, going back to, Bo watching Grace, and I don't know if, she would come and watch Sid, and obviously she grew up, watching Sid play. That was one of her idols. I mean, she needs to take a chapter out of Sid's book. I mean, that's how Sid helped us. Right? She was a knockdown shooter, but she was so much more than that for us.
The last two, more than two.
450 career wins tonight.
Yeah.
How important is it that you have been able to have so much success here at Indiana?
It's, I think it's just part of what we came here to do. I've said it before, we felt like when we got here 12 years ago that it was a place where we could build a program, we could, find players that were in alignment with what we valued, the culture, the work ethic, the player development piece. We've been able to find players that fit us and we fit them. It's been having a great staff, but it's also been those players. Every one of those players that have come through. Tyra Buss was here tonight. She was the start of that, and it was great to see her and meet her daughter for the first time. And so, it's what we set out to do. But hopefully, we got a lot more in us.
Yeah, Teri, to follow up on that, I wanted to ask you about seeing Tyra back, seeing those players who maybe were the start of what you were building here back in the stands. What does that mean to you as a coach to see all those players come back?
We practiced Saturday before we left for Florida, and I had Nikki and Chloe and Grace Wagner. They were at the football game. They stopped by practice, and Tyra coming back, and Berger was back. She stopped in, not to practice, but she was here for the football game, and I love it when they come back. There's nothing better than to see those guys that helped us build this thing. And I know Tyra feels, although her husband's on that up there at that other red school, or school that has red and white, Tyra has so much pride in playing here and being a Hoosier and helping us. She was a big piece of the build, and it was great to see her tonight. And her mom and her baby.